All right. Another episode of the Top 20 Video Game Music Show. This show is produced by Rudi, Cyflan, Claudio, Kris, Xenmas, and Prince. I'm your host, Matt. This is Birdman from Pilotwing 64. And this week we are covering dead franchises. To qualify, you need to have had more than one game, and you need to be dead. Do remakes count? Do remasters count? We'll find out as we go. This was a beautiful warm-up track, Pilotwing 64. We're going to move on to our first choice here. This is from the great and surprisingly dead Bully. Why is Bully dead? This is the main theme from Bully. Crispy. All right. I added this one late, and as Prince pointed out, yeah, Bully isn't a franchise. Bully has one game. It's just so surprising. It feels like with the power of how good Bully is and the power of Rockstar that it would have been a franchise. But I guess we can talk about it and say that I screwed up. It is very Harry Pottery. The bass line is so good. It's so like twinkly and kind of magical, but that bass line is really kind of brooding, and it just makes you think. It's sort of like everything is kind of twinkly and nice, but there's this undercurrent of something very sinister coming. Is the mean bass line the bully that's coming to the school, or is it sort of the corruption underneath the school? Anyways, I screwed up. Let's see if anybody else does. I was okay with Pilotwings, Bully. My bad. Such an idiot. All right. Well, let's see if the next person gets this correct. Our next choice is from Rudi. This is from Gabriel Night 3. Main theme. my god, that is pretty incredible. I'm a big fan of Muse. I'm a big fan of dramatic chord changes and spacey sounds, spacey arpeggios, really dramatic resolutions. It sounds like something they would play on the beach. Oh my god, like the beach of what? The beach of the shores of eternity? This is so epic. Oh my god, I love this. I should play this one if I ever walk down the aisle. I am your husband. Welcome me. Excellent choice. From Rudy. This part's so U2. I wanna live. I wanna do. I wanna play video games on a CD-ROM. Next up, this choice by Cyflan from Grandia. Grandia will be appearing again on this list. This is versus Nana, Saki, and Mio. Man, that's cool. I didn't hear the B section when I was first putting this together, and it's so, like Chris is saying, such an unexpected turn. But you got that nice Super Nintendo sounding MIDI organ that makes you feel like I'm in a JRPG. We are going to be having a big battle. And then it goes to this like really kind of happy place in the B section. Just like so cheery, super power positive. JRPG sounds were just so nice. It was sort of like the pinnacle of that older style of music. When things started getting a bit more orchestral compared to just being super catchy. This is so weird. It sounds like you're having a big serious battle and then some crazy side character jumps in and does a special attack. Yeah! Let's slow it down now. This is a Claudio pick from Baten, Kaitos, To the End of the Journey of Glittering Stars. Sakuraba, and Sakuraba's worked on some Dark Souls stuff. You can hear in that, not this part, but the part before, there's that very, very, like, heavy, kind of aching, emotional weight to it. I think maybe it's the... You have kind of like a mournful violin sound, as well as the percussion that's on the first part of the bar. Boom, da-da-da-da-da, boom. It's like a really kind of gives it a heavy weight, like a ploddingness. It feels like an eventuality, like an unstoppable procession towards death, like this life that we all lead. Next up is a Kris pick from Dungeon Keeper, the Horned Reaper. Man, that's awesome. It's got a nice build-up and then just like a really awesome heavy halftime guitar riff. I love when they do those palm muted guitar bits, just kind of chuck, 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 how sharp, and the way they stop so well, and then that tremolo guitar that comes in. There it is. The tremolo's faster than the beat around it. Like Prince says, like you're standing above a ritual and you jump down and slaughter everybody. Man, what a killer. Sounds like playing a PC in the late 90s, early 2000s. Maybe it's like mid to late 90s, just from the sound of the music. That's killer. I love PC industrial. There's just something about, makes you imagine, those PC players that are kind of playing before PC gaming became more mainstream. Sitting there in their trench coats and their black sunglasses. Next up is from xenmas Shadowheart's Imbroglio. Man, those bells are really nice. I love the way those drums are like boom, 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 chon, 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 boom, boom. The drums have such a heavy deliberation to them. It really feels like the drums are just like carving their way through the song. I love that low synth bass. It's like really unsettling. It's that high note that doesn't, because it's not going up to the octave. It's like sounds like there's a glitch, like a robot is about to. It's like you have some kind of a cleaning robot around your house, and it snaps and it recognizes you as the enemy, and it's about to destroy you, and then clean up the mess it made, and no one will know. And now for our palate cleanser after all that deep and heavy music. This is a Prince pick. It is from Laura Bow 2. It is the Archaeologist song. And it's a funny little tune.
I want to marry an archaeologist and keep his artifacts warm. I travel with him through jungles and deserts and weather out every storm. If he wants me to, I'll burrow and dig on burials small and temples big. Oh, I want to marry an archaeologist. What a marvelous gig. Mommy would love him and Daddy too. We'd be famous and well-to-do. Oh, I want to marry an archaeologist. Then I could book it too. Wahoo! I could book it too. Oh, we'd play peekaboo. Oh.
All right, pretty interesting song. A big throwback to music from, I guess 1930s and 40s. A lot of this music was coming out back then because there was the Depression, and they started making songs that were happy, you know. Or I don't know when this would be. It does have kind of like the accent she's doing is very like old-timey New York. The way she doesn't say I, it's like oi, almost British sounding. I wanna be. Just like a Betty Boop type cartoonish lounge singer cabaret act. You know, it's almost like you can see a bunch of the army guys having their first shore leave and they're out to see the show. Like this could be one of those, what do they call them, USO shows? Where they do, they bring Marilyn Monroe over, some babe, to sing for the boys. And like that hilarious trombone. Is that either a trombone with a thing on it, or yeah, that's definitely a trombone because it's sliding. Yeah, a pinup. It sounds like a pinup cartoon model is singing to you from the wall. Yeah, it's just a funny little goofy song. Anyway, fun little pick. All right, now we can get a little more serious. This is a Claudio pick from the great Kid Icarus Uprising. This is Aurum's Island. song is crazy. It starts off with like a pretty kind of scary opening bit, and then this kind of like this sort of like techno-y. It really reminds me of the kind of music I was making with Ink of the Dragon for a small moment in time. We called it the Groove Project. And then the big band stuff comes in there, and you're just totally not expecting it. So apparently this game had 6 different composers. Oh my god. Sounds like 6 different composers worked on this one song. Our next track chosen by Cyflan from Cannon Fodder. This is Intro. Some chord reggae.
Never been so much fun. 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 Go to your brother, kill him with your gun, leave him lying in his uniform, dying in the sun. Never been so much fun. 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 Go to your brother, kill him with your gun, leave him lying in his uniform, dying in the sun. Kill him with your gun, 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 kill him with your gun. So much fun.
Some chord reggae, the name of the, I guess the name of the genre or the style or just the idea of British and white people playing reggae that lacks the soul and the authenticity of people from the Caribbean really playing reggae. And British people doing it in their way that like lacks that soul and that deep feeling of it and making it sound kind of pretty. Who are technically playing reggae but aren't doing like those little bits in between to not make it sound cold and plastic. Cod, like the cold British fish. Pretty fun track. I mean, when you hear something like this, it makes me think of just the excitement of when they first were making games on CD and you could do exciting things like this, like have voices, have, gun sound effects and make it feel like a band was playing. Yeah, and it is like a war. What is it good for? In like a satirically positive, happy, fun way. All right, it is time to get real serious. A Rudy pick from Thunder Force 4. This is Stage 8. That opening riff is so cool, the way that it has the accents. Like when it first opens up, the way, like the places that they put the accents really sort of take you kind of to and fro. Gives you this feeling of like the ship swinging around, and then just like all these riffs and like totally shredding synth and guitar sounds and square waves or whatever they are. It's perfect for like a full-on action game like this, where it doesn't look like the ship is moving much, but there's just a million bullets all over the place that you're throwing out and that are getting thrown at you. This would pound really well on an NES too, but it sounds really good on a Genesis FM sound chip. To follow up such a heavy rockin' song, we're going to need another really heavy rockin' song. And of course, we turn to Detective Barbie 2, The Vacation Mystery. This is a Prince pick, of course. And this plays during the boat chase. That is some heavy ass chugging. Just with some rising, sinister guitar chords. Holy shit. That was pretty wild. When Barbie chases somebody on a boat, you are not getting away. Next up, we have a xenmas pick. This is from Blue Dragon, which is the JRPG that Hironobu Sakaguchi, the man behind Final Fantasy 1 through 5 and Final Fantasy 9, went off to create his first, I believe it was his first JRPG on the Xbox 360 after Final Fantasy. Here we go. Blue Dragon, Dragon Fight, battle theme. Not only is this a Sakaguchi game, the music was composed by Uematsu, and in the chat I'm seeing that Toriyama, cyflan is saying Toriyama did the art style, so it's basically like getting another Chrono Trigger. And the music just turns off. But definitely JRPG and Uematsu style of just like shredding organ and guitar, lots of pedaling, and then you got that like rollicking, shuffling drum beat. makes it sound so fun, and there's so much momentum behind it. Guitar squeals. Uematsu could combine so many things, and he could make things on paper be so weird musical theory-wise. And sometimes can throw you off a little bit when you're first listening to it, when you're not expecting the next thing to come up. But he knew that in the JRPG, you're going to be hearing these themes a lot, and it's good to have something a little bit unexpected so that it takes time for the player's ear to become accustomed to it. What a genius. Next up, we got ourselves a Kris pick. This here is Rise of Legends, Lenora's theme. That's an interesting, kind of a sappy piano ballad. Again, it has a lot of those, like, heavy emphasis on the one of each bar, or every couple bars, which gives it this sort of heaviness to it, a weight, and a bit of a sadness. Then you get some static strings. Yeah, it definitely seems like a big revelation has been made. To me, it sounds like a character saying, I've got to leave. Don't cry for me. Yes, you can eat my sandwiches. I won't be needing sandwiches where I go. Well, maybe I'll just have a bite. Our next choice is from Prince. This is Lula Wet Sexy Empire. This is some kind of a management simulator where you're trying to run a sexy empire. We're not going to be able to show much gameplay from this one. Well, yeah, it does kind of have that Barbie feel to it. I think it's like I think it's the feel of late 90s CD music where you've got like a mix of real instruments mixed with electronica stuff. It's that crossover part where MIDI and synths were a lot more available, but people still thought, well, I'll just play the drums and we'll... Mostly just the drums, actually. It's just so weird to hear, like, nowadays, if you were hearing this kind of background music, you would never think of hearing, like, an acoustic full drum kit, you know, with, like, a real drummer doing accents on the hi-hat and stuff, like little ghost notes and emphasizing different bits with the hi-hat opening and closing. Because it would be so natural to do, like, a drum loop for that. But it adds a lot of life, especially when you've only got basically it floating from two chords, one to another. And just like a lot of... it definitely has the vibe of needing to decide something because it's like... Because it's only... Yeah, because it's going just from one chord to the other. I don't know why I chose to describe the two chords in the lowest notes possible in my range, but there they are. And then the drummer's just like, you gonna decide? Pros and cons. What do you think? What does Lula think? Next up from Rudi, this is from Grandia 2. In Town Ageel, Cursed Land. Wow. 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 I love that. Incredibly funky. Lots of syncopation. They have these, like, and what do you call that? Syncopation polyrhythms. Where you have these rhythms sort of like, they start kind of overlapping each other. They almost sound like they're out of sync, and then they line up at the end, and again, this is so bloody good. So apparently this composer also worked on Kid Uprising alongside Sakuraba and a few other people, the other 5 people working on that. Worked on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies, Wing Commander on the Sega CD, Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations, Lunar 2, First Grandia, Lunar Silver Star, Sim Earth. I bet you that's got a really good soundtrack. Lunar Eternal Blue, The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie on Game Boy. I bet you that sounds good too. Oh. Oh. Good Lord. Well, that's bloody good. That was amazing. Next up, from Cyflan, Space Quest 3 intro. This is another really, really good one, especially for the time. The MIDI sounds I get from this are, I don't know if this is what originally came out on this Roland MT32. Apparently it was composed by the Supertramp drummer Bob Siebenberg. Wow. Man, that is so good. It is so fun. I love that drum beat. I love the really playful tom roll up here, tom roll up there, tom roll down here. And those sounds are so bloody good for the time. Like, they're so crisp and full, and I guess it would matter, like you were saying, what sound card you had. So this is the MT32. These are like really, really high quality samples. Sounds like it'll be campy yet epic. Oh, definitely. I mean, that's exactly what you're going to get in Space Quest. 1989 this game came out. Imagine playing this with these like cool little hand-drawn graphics. You know that the franchise is on its third game, and Sierra's been making tons of games like this, so this just feels very, very inspired. I've only ever played Police Quest and never any of these other ones. I should play some of them sometime with a walkthrough, but just to pass through them and see if they're worth revisiting. Look at this handsome boy. Good, that was a great theme. Next up, we got a Chris pick from Time Splitter's Future Perfect, which I believe is the third one. This is Title Screen. What a fun groove. I love that that kind of dirty guitar type synth sound they get. Really kind of industrial and groovy, synthy. Competition with a large cash prize at the end. See how many zombies you can fry, and you'll walk away with a brand new car for running over zombies. Back then, time splitters and these games did so many cool things like split screen all the time, or like play multiplayer with AI bots, edit a stage editor for multiplayer. Just madness on a console first-person shooter. Yeah, definitely. I think the music does out very well, Chris. Sets the tone. It's an arcade game. It's going to have serious gameplay, and also it's going to be campy, and it's going to be fun. What a track. Two more. This is a biggie from Claudio, from Golden Sun, Final Boss Fusion Dragon. A lot of JRPG battle themes are going to be pretty in your face. The boss themes tend to be a bit more chaotic. This definitely sounds like a final boss track where the parts in the song are quite different from each other, and there's a couple of those parts where it feels like they've changed the timing so much, or like the drums are on a different meter or something. It sounds like the drums are racing faster than the actual song that they're supporting, which just gives it a super, as you said, chaotic, hopeless battle music. Yeah, like try your best. There's going to be a million things going on. There's going to be status effects everywhere. The boss is going to heal itself. You're going to think it's dead, and it's going to come back twice as strong in phase 6. Wild stuff. All right, a nice little palate cleanser for our final track. This is from F-Zero. Somebody mentioned they're going to put F-Zero on the list, and I didn't see any, so here it is. And actually, I think we'll play a bonus one after this, but this one is Big Blue. Oh yeah, Rudy, that definitely does sound like Punch Out. It's got that hammering, pedaling bass, and really kind of like a hopeful, heroic scale, but then a little more shredding in between. But when it gets to its kind of like main themes, and it's really trying to drive the last part of the song home, definitely it being more simple sounds very much like it's out of Punch Out. I mean, there's a lot of changes, a lot of chaos going on. This part sounds like Punch Out. Such a nice way to introduce a track. Well, that is it for our top 20 video games from Dead franchises. Thanks to you guys, Prince, Rudy, cyflan, Kris, Claudio, Xenmas, for choosing the topics so well, so diplomatically, so democratically. This is Humming the Bassline from Jet Set Radio Future. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you.